example, when I first got on the board, there was several things that I had in mind. One was to hire a full-time marketing specialist, and you folks did that quick. The other was to reestablish our relationships with the chamber, and we're in the process, hopefully, of doing that. And then the other thing was just to simply keep our ears to the ground and see what other things we can do. You know, for example, another thing that was on the pipeline, and Councilman Tejada, you might recall, we brought a person here several months ago, and that is to buy some publicity promotional kind of things. And let's hit the situation from different angles so that we can do the best job that we can. We've got some money that's appropriate for spending on that kind of thing, and we need to do that. So what I'm asking you folks to do is to simply amend the bylaws as indicated in the bylaws that were provided to you. And that includes in the amended proposed thing that we gave you, the change in the name from what it is now to Floresville Convention Tourist Investors Advisory Board. I very respectfully, in fact, I say we because the board voted on it to do that.
Is that the only change, Mr. Gonzalez?
Well, there are changes actually in the bylaws themselves, tweaking it a little bit just to clarify again that we're advisory. I also have a couple of changes, and I'll go ahead and mention those by pages. I also changed or added a little provision in there that says we are dealing with the hotel motel taxes. In fact, we were established for that purpose and we didn't have anything in there. So I'm asking, and you see the red marks on there, to add that to section, I believe it's 2.1. Also, on resignations and removals, we had nothing on what directors would do if they wanted to resign. I put in there that we need to provide written notice. Also, in ethical guidelines 2.16, I put a little provision in there that says that our directors are protected from libel or liability if they're doing a faithful job and so on, and do what the rules allow and so on. Pretty much like what we have with the FEDC bylaws right now.
Mr. Gonzalez, I'm glad you brought that up, the ethical guidelines. And maybe this is something that Mr. Hug can help us with, but I think in all of our committees, we should have something regarding disparaging remarks between each committee members and the city. We've seen that with people where they're just, they're on boards or they're on committees and they're making disparaging remarks, to the people that are either appointing them or they're, working on the same team. If we want to create the harmony and make Floresville a place to come visit, let's set the example here with ourselves.
I don't think that's a reference to this 2.16.
Well, it's part of ethics.
Well, and taking it even in the scope of here, when you start getting into things like that, you start treading into First Amendment territory as well, because people are still private citizens. So, we can put a general scope of decorum clause in there, but you can't say that somebody can't speak negatively about somebody else.
Okay.
But we can work on those for every entity in the future.
And Councilman Todd, if I may, Mr. Gonzalez has done a unique job, I have to agree.
Yes.
And we met, and Chris Hug went to the previous meeting and went through these, and so what you have in your packet is a red line, so you can see the changes that we made. And even after that, Mr. Gonzalez came back and did some handwritten, that's actually his notes, on the red line, and that has been amended. So we have a clean copy for you, but I wanted you all to see the changes in the back and forth. And Chris attended the meeting, answered all their questions. I attended the meeting last night, and they had the final copy with all of the final changes, and I believe their committee, their bureau passed it. So we wanted you to see all the addendums or changes, and that's why you have the red color, but the mayor will be signing a clean copy.
And I can tell you, there's no substantive changes here. It's mostly clarification of that this is an advisory board, that membership is voluntary, that people can leave the board if they desire. And then to clarify the scope of what the board is to do, because their advice goes to hotel occupancy tax funds. That was added by Mr. Gonzalez. On the one in your packet, it just says add here regarding hotel motel tax. I believe if we have the clean copy, it's got the language in there. But it just basically says to recommend approval or disapproval of projects that are presented to the visitor board or the advisory board.
So if you reviewed it and Ms. Turner reviewed it and we're okay with all motions, we approve it.
Any comments, Ms. Turner?
No, I think that we've done all our due diligence, and since I helped create this committee, I'm so happy that we're actually gonna have it, to come to fruition, and that board's been working very hard, so thank you.
And since that she says, you know, it's her brainchild, I may start using words like wonderfully nice.
Amazing.
Amazing. Anyway, my request to you folks is that we approve the change in the bylaws as presented, and that'll include the change in
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Tejada. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Ortiz. Councilman, yes, and how do you vote?
Before I vote, Mayor, I just want to thank Mr. Gonzalez for his dedication that he put, towards these amendments, making these changes. And I mean, he carries that same dedication on every board that he serves. So thank you for everything you do.
Appreciate it.
Not only did you serve your government at the fullest, and you came back and shared it with us also. So we appreciate you.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that.
And I say that knowing you already voted.
But she didn't know how to vote.
That's what I'm saying. I know.
We're about to change it.
So my vote is yes.
Councilman Guerrero?
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much, appreciate that. And my board appreciates it.
Okay, now we're gonna go on to H, and that is consideration and action to approve the request from the city manager for $38,000 to hire KMOL TV for a 6-month series of ads promoting Floresville visitor tourism, which in turn will promote the hotel industry.
And incidentally, that KMOL is wrong. It's WOAI, which is Channel 4. And this is the one that I was referring to that was presented to you folks about, what, 2 months ago? And Amor de la Vega, who did the presentation, then came in last night and did a presentation, and she's here. You need to listen to her again.
Did your board approved already, correct?
I'm sorry?
The board approved already?
Yes, let me finish that, and we'll let her do the presentation.
They can do the presentation, we can take it up, but the item on here apparently has the wrong vendor.
Yes, and that's what I was indicating. Yes, Councilman Nieto, we voted to recommend it for your approval, and we think it's very necessary. I think we need a several-pronged approach to making Floresville better known and to bring tourism in as we're doing with the many things that we've got going. One of the challenges that we hear, and I'm on the FEDC board, as you know, and it is that a lot of people out there, even close distances, don't know what Floresville does or where Floresville is, and I think this will go a long ways to helping that. Anyway, and of course, Tony Rivera is very involved in that too.
Do we have any citizens' comments on this before we?
Maybe we can wait until after.
You can discussion, we can't have any action.
Right.
Because it's listed as the wrong vendor on there, so the notice to the public is to the wrong vendor.
So we made another mistake?
That vendor actually changed their name over. That KMOL no longer exists, and they actually took over that business.
KMOL is still, I mean, that was a long time ago, but it changed to WOAI because WOAI, we used to be partners with WOAI Radio, so we had to break apart, so we're now just WOAI. And then Sinclair bought WI, so now we have 3 stations, which is KBB, CW, and WI.
Your recommendation
Is for us to table this?
I mean, if you would like to do the presentation, so you don't have to come back out next time when it's considered, you can do so, but yeah, as far as actually taking a vote on here, because we have to give notice to the public, Open Meetings Act, that this is who we're entering into a contract with, and if KMOL doesn't exist, then we can't enter into a contract.
Now, do we have to go through a presentation if the visitors committee has already approved it?
That's for, because council still finally approves everything, the actual money payments. And visitors, I guess the recommendation is to approve it.
Yes.
But as for the agenda item to actually vote on it is what we're,
But
the verbiage is.
I guess the question is, does it have to come through us again?
No.
No.
No. It doesn't have to go back through y'all, we just need to, whenever the next meeting is, make sure we have the right vendor.
Where did the error happen?
Where did it come from?
Yeah.
It came to me from, I don't need one to use names from the event center.
All right, Italy.
Is that good enough?
Perfect.
I love coming to Floresville. I've been here about 2 months ago, was here last night, and here again, so.
That event center can speak, you didn't realize that, right?
If the walls could speak. Okay, go ahead.
So, basically just wanted to thank you guys for having me again. Sorry for the misname, but, basically it's the same kind of presentation, just getting, and I was talking to, I've been in contact with Tony, and, just trying to promote, Floresville. I mean, talk about Floresville, the great things that we have about, great the community, and also promoting events. So it's not just about events, it's about Floresville. And then getting with Tony and, communicating and getting some type of events together, or if there's more events. The good thing about our stations is it's 3 stations that covers more than, and I have in your folders, I just put a little more information than I did last time. The media kit of who our viewers are, where we reach. So we're reaching people with cable, without cable. It's broadcast television where people will watch WOAI, KV, and the great thing about us is we cross-promote. So if someone, our news will cross-promote to WOAI, or WOAI will cross-promote to CW. And the great thing about that too is that we have local talent that will come out here and support, Floresville. And that's what it's all about, people seeing people.
How should be worded, WOAI?
WOAI.
Did you just work for Ken Spy?
I used to work for Ken Spy, and you look familiar.
If we enter into this agreement with you, you gotta make sure if we advertise with you, that you can't call one of our events a fiasco.
That was the law,
Sorry?
I own it. That was the most successful event Floresville's ever had.
I know, but wasn't it 5 that said that?
Yes.
It was Channel 5
It
that
was
said
Ken,
that.
yeah.
So you gotta make sure we advertise with you, can't call one of our events a fiasco.
But it was you brought a lot of people.
Yeah, it did, yeah, it was great, yeah.
TV works.
Is that what you're saying? They call it a, yeah, unfortunately,
Any other questions?
How would this help with marketing the holiday extravaganza?
It would help greatly. I mean, and as you see, this is a partnership, and I think our stations, we believe in a partnership. So the media pack that you guys have is, we're basically giving you back what you're paying for. So it's a great return on investment. For example, a monthly schedule, you guys would pay $37.50, while the partnership, which includes segments where our hosts would come out here, billboards. I know we talked last night about the extravaganza going on, us promoting that, but then one of the questions is, well, we have another Christmas party going on. Well, we can promote that too on, on billboards or on, so it's anything that anyone wants to promote, we can do it. We're the partnership and we can get it done.
Cindy, isn't there an event going on at River Bend?
but it's on Friday, not Saturday.
But it could be
Yes.
advertised that for that weekend.
Yes,
Yeah,
And also, we have a Christmas parade,
yes.
yeah,
come to Floresville that weekend.
yeah. And people have to see, Floresville, 3 times or more to remember. Floresville, So, I mean,
I remember that.
me too. I've been here a lot.
Let me just mention one thing, on this media buy, in the proposal it mentioned 6 months. A lot of this media buy was organized before I was here. I immediately contacted Amor to get a better understanding of what it was. 6 months wasn't good for me, and I talked to her about it, and the reason why is we have the extravaganza coming up, and it's very important that we promote that all over the place. So the media buy was good for that. But if you don't know, we have construction going on our site right now. And so if I start doing, I need to get through my extravaganza, and then right after that, she's allowing, I asked her, can I break this up? I know it's 6 months, but can I break it up over 9 months? Because I don't want to really be promoting my site, my event center, if I can't even book it because we have construction going on. And so she said, no problem, we could break this up to better accommodate our schedule. And at the same time, I've been spending the last 3 weeks meeting with different organizations, and I still have more organizations like Parks and other people to meet with, to see what they need, because this isn't just for the event center, this is for the community, for our community, our town, our county-wide 75-mile radius, so we could get the word out about everything that we do here and what we have to offer. And that's what I liked about that, they're being flexible, and at the same time, I've done this many times, so I'm gonna be calling her for more above and beyond what's in there. How can we do more live shots? Can we do a live shot from our new construction done, right here with our city hall, and all those type of things. And so she's been very flexible with that, because when I first read it, 6 months, it wasn't appealing to me in my budget to just do 6 months when I need to make sure it's taking care of our year. And that was very important for me.
From a production standpoint, how quickly do we need to take action?
Well, actually, since the last time we met, we were kind of back and forth, but I do have one of my production guys working on a script. So we produce that. We can also produce just a Floresville commercial so that, like I said, people need to see Floresville. We can do like 5-second billboards onto the Today Show and saying Floresville, talking about something. So I know you guys had a great event for the Balloon Fest and the Peanut Festival, so just adding TV and adding more, I think will bring a lot of people.
In reference to the extravaganza, our window is really closed.
Yes.
Since we have an extravaganza on December 5th, we really need to be full grown by November 1st.
So we need a meeting by next week then?
There's a timing issue.
So do you want to sign for a special meeting or do you get a form?
Yeah, because we do have the script, but we're just working on logistics and, you all tell us.
Mr. Rivera, have you ever worked with the WOI before?
I have not with Amor, but I've worked with every single news station in San Antonio producing large festivals and galas and things like that. And so for me, when I read it, okay, like I said in our meeting yesterday, well, I have other plans on leveraging some of this on how we can promote Floresville as a whole. This is a good proposal, but she knows that I need her to be flexible to customize it per event. There may be something else that pops up that we need to promote as a city, and so she's told me that that's not going to be a problem. But I've not worked with Amor.
Oh, hold on, please. Ms. Newman, did you have something?
Huh?
Did you have something?
Yeah, I do. This is WAI. I can't hear very well back here. So you're talking about WAI?
Yes,
Well,
TV.
I just want to say that at the Rancho de los Cabras celebration the other week, WOAI was here. They gave us wonderful coverage. They gave us a lot of exposure at the missions in San Antonio, and they did a wonderful job out here. And so I would just say, if this is WAI, they have done us a great service, and I would welcome them helping us with, because they also, 29 bought them out, so we have 29 and CW 35 and all of that. So it's a very good program that we're having. So I do thank WAI very much. Thank you.
Of course. And that's what we're all about, community.
Well, I just have one question. First off, I think it's a phenomenal idea to market Floresville. Now, my question is, have we looked at a marketing company like PM Group or somebody other than just going to like a group of stations?
No, we have not.
And why not?
Baby steps.
No, no, it's
No, I mean,
not.
I
The
have
prices
not-
are very
this-
similar, that's
this-
why I'm
this pro-
asking.
This proposal was proposed to me.
Mhm.
It came on my desk the first day I was here 3 weeks ago, and this was the proposal that's in front of me, that I've been meeting with the city manager on and other people on, and this is the route we've gone.
Okay. And the reason I ask specifically is like groups like the PM group and stuff, you can buy large bulk advertising on several channels for sometimes very
Right,
complicated.
and that's where I was, if it would have been just been one TV channel, I probably would have questioned a little bit on the price.
Mhm.
But since it is it's three-pronged, 3 stations, and not just 3 stations, it's the internet. And so also being able to provide us with, where, let's say we're doing an event and I want to bring some of my entertainers to their studio and do the morning show, things like that. It provides us with some of that leeway. If it would have just been one station, I couldn't even see spending that kind of money on just one station. And so we're able to set up the timing to where 1 week you're gonna see a blitz on WAI, and then Fox, and then CW, so you always get repeated. So when you change the channel, you might see the same commercial, like, God, these guys are all over the place. But that's what you want. You want saturation. And we're not gonna just get it via radio. We're not just gonna get through posters promoting things in Floresville. We need to try to get it a little bit of everything.
Now, Mr. Gray, you didn't talk much about your background, but I mean, you came from a consulting background on this, I mean, and also you worked for the,
I come from a background of events and marketing. I graduated from St. Mary's University in '96, and ever since then, I've been in charge of the marketing and events for Fiesta Oyster Bay, which garners 80,000 people in 18 hours. I've done the Texas Folk Life Festival for 5 years. And throughout those type of events, I use all different types of media. But at the same time, I was the facility manager for the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, as well as Market Square for the city of San Antonio. So I've learned to leverage marketing back and forth through entertainment, and through events, through galas, things like that, to where, you know,
I just wanted you to share that, because I mean, you know
try
a
to get as
little
much
bit
as
what you're
possible.
talking about, right, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you.
This is
I
John
wanted
from
to say-
Context.
I wanted to say one thing, as far as I was involved with the Moore here and helping put that project together. We dropped the price from, I think it was a year to the 6 months. Just to support the 6-month deal, we did that in order to be able to test drive the scenario without committing to a larger amount. Because we were getting a lot of pushback about maybe that wouldn't work. The reason I got involved was because at the time that y'all hired me, that was one of the departments that I was gonna look at to help promote the holiday extravaganza. But she said it best, 3 channels, he said it great.
Thank you. Okay, can I get a motion for this table?
Are you able to do it?
No, we're gonna.
They're gonna table it, and then we'll set a special meeting, and do the actual vote on it.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Guerrero. May I have a second? Second by Councilman Rodriguez. Councilman Tejada, how do you vote? Councilman Morrow, please.
Yes.
Councilman Yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. To the last change. Now, we're gonna go on to letter I, consideration and action to approve the agreement to provide funds $42,000 from the city's hotel motel occupancy tax fund to the Floresville Chamber of Commerce to be used in promotion of tourism in the city of Floresville. Do we have any citizens' comments on this? Okay, if not, Mrs. Are you gonna talk to everyone?
Yes. Let me start it out. First of all, if you'll permit me.
I didn't-
Are you ready for me?
I didn't know you were gonna say. Okay.
If you'll permit me, on a personal level, for the last year or so, I've been having a lot of trouble with my memory. And I've been trying to do everything that I can to overcome it. And I know you guys been very helpful. So I write my things down so that I can not miss the things that I want to say. So I will read this. I'm very interested in this particular event. And again, you know, I'm getting there. You know, working very hard to overcome it. And I guess you will allow me to do it my way, and that is to read things so that I write my own stuff, so it's not coming from anybody else. So let me read this, and then we'll have the chamber people give you their story if you need it, okay? So let me read this. After lengthy discussion, our board approved for recommendation to the council to allocate an amount of $42,000 to the chamber. This section is different from the usual, in which normally a request is made to either fund a particular event or an operation. What we have here is actually an agreement between the city and the chamber to delegate expenditure of $42,000 of hotel motel monies to the chamber. Under the law, this is permissible. In a number of cases, very limited, the chamber being one. The $42,000 amount comes from a budget prepared jointly by the city finance chief and the chamber, and is based on a portion, not the total cost, the operational cost for their visitors center. The following requirement must be met. In other words, when we allocate that money to the chamber for their use, we're in essence hiring them to do our job. Expenditures must be projects/activities that meet the law's requirements. The onus is on the chamber to assure that. B, must have written contract laying out duties of the chamber, which we have. We have both the budget that has to be prepared. In fact, you've seen it before over here, prepared again jointly by Connie and the chamber. And we have the contract, I guess, Chris, you prepared that.
Yes.
So those two things have been done. And the chamber must keep the monies in a separate account for separate from the general fund. The city, again, as I indicated, has a written agreement prepared, and it's a very tight agreement. In my opinion, it does a very good job. It requires chamber to do multitude of things to attract visitors, tourists, and conventions. And B, achieve economic benefit for the city, not for the chamber, in those particular situations. Provide budget prior to funding for upcoming year, and this again has been done. Provide monthly reports to the city as well as an annual statement listing expenditures from hotel motel funds. And either party can terminate the agreement upon 30 days notice. Unspent funds must be returned to the city. The board felt, and I feel very strongly, that this is an asset to the city. I mentioned before that one of the objectives I had was to reestablish the relationship with the chamber. I believe that the chamber, and in fact the law provisions indicate that, is uniquely positioned for outreach. In other words, they can serve as another arm or prong for tourism development, and working very closely with Tony, they've indicated they're going to be doing it. And it does not, Councilman Nieto, represent duplication. Each one is doing their thing, and there is enough doing for both of us. And again, the main thing, and to alleviate your concern, there is going to be very cohesive and cooperative coordination to the extent that we know what we're doing. And in essence, I think that Tony can use them, and I mean that in a good sense, I don't mean use them in a bad sense, but use them as part of his efforts to do the recruiting or outreach. So the board very strongly recommended doing what we're suggesting here, and that is allocating $42,000 to the chamber to do the job that I indicated. Thank you. Now, I don't know if you folks want to add to that.
Pretty much. Not a whole lot I really can add to that besides, at our last meeting that we were here, there was concern regarding our website. And at the time, I had mentioned that we were wanting to wait to try to work together with the city. Since that was a concern last time, we just went on our own. We got our own website. It's up and running. It's been up and running for about a week now. We have a contract with Wilson County News, and they've been great helping us and changing things and so forth. Other than that, did y'all have any other questions for me regarding this? Mr. Gonzalez, thank you for your support and saying all that for us.
I mean, thank you guys for being persistent. I think we've come a long way since the first meeting that we had together, the way everything's laid out, with meeting the advisory boards and what's expected of you, and then, how your relationship is gonna be with the city. So I think, what's in front of us here is, 10 times better than when we first started. I think we're all sort of at a point where we can move forward with it and be comfortable with it. Because the hotel motel tax, I mean, they're very stringent on how it can be spent, we can get, in a lot of trouble for not spending that money properly. So we've got to make sure that we got all our, T's crossed and our I's dotted, before we enter any kind of relationship where we get ourselves in that litigation.
And that's better than that.
And Connie, thank you for helping with the budget.
Yeah, so thank you guys.
I don't think the issue is necessarily the website, but going back to what I said earlier, disparaging remarks, we all have to be on the same page. And, when you come out on TV and being negative, when you hang out negative banners, that's not a Chamber of Commerce
Right.
mission. That's what I mean.
Well, we've one step forward and we've changed, so.
One step forward, we keep on going. We have great staff, we have a great leadership, so I think Floresville is on a
We have a lot
different
of,
mission.
A lot of goals and a lot of things that we would like to see done, and we feel like with y'all's support, and with working with Tony, I think we can really get that done.
With that, can I get a motion?
Ms. Henrietta? As
Staff has worked very hard. Connie, the mayor mentioned his work on the budget. I have to commend the chamber again with Councilman Nieto. They've been coming back 2 or 3 times. I mean, I don't know if you all know how nervous it is to get it before the council. And I think this is our 4th time coming before the council presenting. They did a really good job. Actually, it's above what I had initially recommended, but I strongly stand behind this. And I know Tony's been meeting. And again, I cannot thank the chairman of the board of all his hard work and due diligence to separate that we want to answer all your questions, and we don't mind being sent back to the drawing board to bring it back so that everybody's can be comfortable and we can move forward. So I strongly recommend this as well.
Madam Mayor, I so move to approve this,
Okay.
this funding for $42,000 to the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Ortiz. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Nieto. Councilman Ayala, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Guerrero?
Yes.
And Councilman Rodriguez?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 5-0.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Now, before we adjourn, I have an announcement to make. I too, like Mr. Gonzalez, write my notes. Okay, during my term, we have upgraded our credit rating. We've obtained a USDA loan grant of $10 million for our sewer plant. And the city is moving forward with sewer, water, and improvements projects. We have enhanced the partnership with the county, the school district, the hospital, and other community organizations. So it is with great sadness that I tender my resignation as mayor, effective the date of appointment for Mayor Pro Tem during this new election. I want to thank my husband for always being there for me. Special thanks to all my family members that are here, my grandkids. To all the city employees, I extend a special thanks for your support and all you do for the city. To all the council members, I ask that you put your differences aside and remember that you were elected to serve the residents of Floresville. So go forward and do it. Take the city forward. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
If y'all do hire WOAI, then can you please send her up to the school on Veterans Day? They put a good show up there, and maybe we can get the councilman to show up, take the day off, and go up there and be part of the school. And they work hard at it, and they put a really good Veterans Day
That runs in my job, and I'm slowly meeting with everybody, all different organizations. If an organization wants to talk to me about the way we market the city, I'd love to hear how I can try to help bring me.